confused just by trying to read and do a little research for yourself. But the real problem is that your training lacks accountability. You're not working with experienced, competitive, prize-winning running trainers that will know exactly what will work for you. Now, if you don't fix this, what will happen? Well, you'll waste weeks, if not months, of training time you can never really get back. You'll become more injury prone because you won't be running correctly or moving the right way, and you'll be more susceptible to overtraining, pushing yourself too hard too soon and not knowing when to pull yourself back. So, what's the solution here? Well, it's good to integrate some accountability into your training. It's really important to get your training reviewed by experienced coaches who have your best interest at heart, and to join a community of like-minded runners who are also training for 5Ks and half marathons. They want to do it healthy, they want to do it injury-free. We can exchange ideas and improve upon each other. That's why we invite you to try our 2-week Quick Start program to see if our exclusive community is for you. You see, we understand that a 6 and 12-month membership is a big commitment, so this 2-week Quick Start program is perfect just to get you running and get you feeling the benefits of the coaching and the workouts that we have to offer to get you running lighter, stronger, and smoother. All you need to do to join and get those 2 weeks plus that exclusive coaching is to click the link above or below this video. You'll get redirected to a page. You can enter your name and your email, and we'll send you immediate access to your 2 weeks. I'll see you on the other side. Hey, have you ever wanted to run a half marathon but don't know where to start or how to train for it? Well, we hear you. You see, a lot of our students, before they come to us, are looking to train for that half marathon or another competition, but they don't know how to train either. And here's the thing, just running won't cut it anymore. Sure, you may improve some running that way, but it's really not the most efficient way to train for a half marathon or for even getting healthy. And there's just so much misinformation online that it's easy to get even more confused just by trying to read and do a little research for yourself. But the real problem is that your training lacks accountability. You're not working with experienced, competitive, prize-winning running trainers that will know exactly what will work for you. Now, if you don't fix this, what will happen? Well, you'll waste weeks, if not months, of training time you can never really get back. You'll become more injury prone because you won't be running correctly or moving the right way, and you'll be more susceptible to overtraining, pushing yourself too hard too soon and not knowing when to pull yourself back. So, what's the solution here? Well, it's good to integrate some accountability into your training. It's really important to get your training reviewed by experienced coaches who have your best interest at heart, and to join a community of like-minded runners who are also training for 5Ks and half marathons. They want to do it healthy, they want to do it injury-free. We can exchange ideas and improve upon each other. That's why we invite you to try our 2-week Quick Start program to see if our exclusive community is for you. You see, we understand that a 6 and 12-month membership is a big commitment, so this 2-week Quick Start program is perfect just to get you running and get you feeling the benefits of the coaching and the workouts that we have to offer to get you running lighter, stronger, and smoother. All you need to do to join and get those 2 weeks plus that exclusive coaching is to click the link above or below this video. You'll get redirected to a page. You can enter your name and your email, and we'll send you immediate access to your 2 weeks. I'll see you on the other side. Hey, have you ever wanted to run a half marathon but don't know where to start or how to train for it? Well, we hear you. You see, a lot of our students, before they come to us, are looking to train for that half marathon or another competition, but they don't know how to train either. And here's the thing, just running won't cut it anymore. Sure, you may improve some running that way, but it's really not the most efficient way to train for a half marathon or for even getting healthy. And there's just so much misinformation online that it's easy to get even more confused just by trying to read and do a little research for yourself. But the real problem is that your training lacks accountability. You're not working with experienced, competitive, prize-winning running trainers that will know exactly what will work for you. Now, if you don't fix this, what will happen? Well, you'll waste weeks, if not months, of training time you can never really get back. You'll become more injury prone because you won't be running correctly or moving the right way, and you'll be more susceptible to overtraining, pushing yourself too hard too soon and not knowing when to pull yourself back. So, What's the solution here? Well, it's good to integrate some accountability into your training. It's really important to get your training reviewed by experienced coaches who have your best interests at heart, and to join a community of like-minded runners who are also trained.
All right, welcome back. It is TRE episode live. Oh, let me start recording. Welcome to TRE episode live. Episode 30, it's 91.
It is.
And we have a special announcement today. And we're having a special episode for a multitude of reasons.
We are.
We have lots of special episodes, but this time, something we've never done before in multiple ways. One, today is the start of the TRE Summit weekend, which means that every member of our TRE team for the first time is going to come into California. They are arriving now at the airport as we speak.
Yep.
And they will be showing up here maybe even during the live shows. You might get a couple of them cameos.
I'm going to do a little photo. You guys are going to get a real close zoomed in shot of us. I just want to make sure.
Are we in focus?
We are focused.
There you go.
Looks a little bit better.
Cool.
There we go.
All right. And then we have, okay, so we have cameos coming in.
Jessica and Jeff have just flown in.
Yep.
Coach Edward will be coming in at 1:30, about an hour and a half.
Fun fact, I have never met Jessica, or neither of you.
Mm-mm.
We have never met Jessica or Jeff in person.
Yeah.
We've been working with both of them for a year, 2 years in some cases.
Yeah.
And so
you know how Jessica came on with us? She was on one of our webinars. Not the live show, yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
all right.
she's been around for a while.
Speaking of webinars, so this is the last, we're calling it the end of season 1 for the live show.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah, Nate and I have been doing this live show for a while now, almost 2 years. And we have a couple, like, we were just talking about how many big projects we are working on. And one of them is the mobile app, which we've been talking about. And we're getting ready for launch. And so there are a number of people of you guys maybe who are on the beta. If you ask to be on the beta and you're not on it as yet, it's because we're giving people sign-on logins in batches. So every week we're adding more people.
Yeah.
The app's getting better and better. We're gonna launch it probably the first week in May publicly to everybody.
Yeah, and that's coming up, man.
It's coming up real quick. And so
are you sweating? Is it like, are you like nervous?
I'm
waking up in the middle of the
good
night?
so far. I haven't woken up in the middle of the night yet. We are also going to London. So all of you kids in the UK, if you're in London or around London, want to come meet us.
This is our first official international trip.
That is true.
Which we are super stoked to do. So we'll be spending, 4 or 5 days out, 5 days out there.
Yep.
And then before that, for those of you guys who are in Boston, I will be in Boston with Jessica, and also Edward and Morgan will be running. So we're gonna have a huge Boston crowd as well, which will be super fun.
And so we have so much stuff going on, and then we wanted to kind of be able to focus. And then the final part of this is that we won't be completely gone. We will actually be doing webinars to kind of bring people into our program. So for those of you not in the training club, we're gonna do like training webinars where we teach a concept and then talk a little bit about our programs and about the training club. And we'll be doing that probably on Thursdays. We're not quite sure what the timing is, but we'll be doing that for a few weeks coming up as well. Yeah. So always opportunities to chat with us.
Yeah. We have an asker, Wild Ginger Running, is, oh my God, you're coming to London. When in London? We're going to be there for the London Marathon. We just said London, assuming that you guys would all know.
Sorry. Yes. London Marathon, I believe, is on the 28th.
It is Sunday the 28th, so we're gonna fly in like.
I'm coming in on like the 23rd, 24th, something like that.
I'm coming in on like Wednesday, the day before, so we'll be in the couple days. We already have some of our TRE people in the ground have been alerted, and you know, like we kind of now know New York, the layout. Right. We know Boston layout pretty well.
We know Chicago.
Like, we don't know London
at all.
At all. So like we're gonna need some of your guys' help to figure out like where we should go in London, and if we're gonna do meetups and like group runs, like where those should be. So
maybe you guys should lead the run instead of us. We'll just be there as the pass along. But yeah, and Dave Warman says, "Are you doing the London Marathon?" No. Everybody always asks. I'm like, "Oh, I'm going ahead to New York for the marathon." And we're like, "Oh, you're running the marathon?" No, we're not racing. Racing those races and working them is a little bit too much.
Yeah, working them. And part of the fun thing we've done the last couple marathons, if you guys have seen, is that we've been live broadcasting the race.
Yep.
So you get our fun, flavorful color commentary and then you get to watch, you know, this fun stream from, usually we try to go around mile 20 or 22 of the race. So for those of you that are out in London, we'd love to hang out with you and see you. And for those of you guys who want to get a little insider peek of the London Marathon, tune in, because that's going to happen.
So, yeah, so that is our next like month and a half, 2 months. We are going to be super laser focused on getting all these things done. And yeah, so you can always jump on the webinars. We'll be, if you're not on our email list somehow, you should definitely get on our email list. Go to TRE.com. There's a sign up form to get like an injury prevention download. You can just sign up there. Or we can throw, there's a lot of places to get onto our email list. But we'll be sending out reminders about the webinar there on our email, and we'll probably be announcing it on our YouTube page as well. Let's see. So keep up reading Ven Bodie and his teacher. Oh, nice. Did you see me? Oh, you must have seen me hold up my. So I am. Oh, now,
was that the eighth voice?
Yeah,
the eighth path.
The eight noble
eighth life.
What is it? The 8 noble truths.
8 sense of smell.
Yeah, the eight senses. I am now, I'm not finished with that book, but I am now in the middle of week 2.
Are you reading it double speed?
I'm not.
In audiobook style? So this guy's been reading books, but he reads them, like, listens to them at like 2 times speed.
Sometimes 2.5. You know what happens is that once you get used to that, if you go back to 1, it feels
You're like the Micro Machines guy who just like talks super fast.
It's crazy. So your brain just gets used to it. Anyhow, I'll tell you what books I have been reading. I just read Scott Adams' book. The Dilbert author has a great book called How to Fail at Nearly Everything and Still Win Big.
Oh,
it's really good. I liked it. I read The Obstacle Is the Way. We should have like a TRE reading group.
I think so.
I read Waking Up by
Sam Harris?
By Sam Harris, which I read that twice.
You told me that you read it and then you basically
just went straight through it again. It was really, really good. And yeah, so oh yeah, I was just saying, I'm in week 2 of my meditation retreat, which means that I'm meditating for an hour every morning. Between that and trying to get my running in, it's a lot of time getting up fairly early.
You know, this was something that I was thinking about, like how much time we spend in the day consuming some form of content or another.
Right.
And whether it is like I'm listening to a podcast or I'm listening to the radio or I'm reading something. And in a way, like when we're like, when I'm like meditating and I'll use an app, it's almost like I'm consuming a form of content
while you're
with the app.
Yeah, I don't use an app for the hour.
It's the ultimate ironic thing. You've stepped away, which and I might be ready. Guys, I might be ready to step away from the meditation apps. But there's this deep irony there because to unplug and get into yourself, you're using a phone app to track this. So it's just this like weird thing. I love Headspace. I've used it for a long time.
Headspace is great. It's how I got started. I think that you graduate from it. I think Sam Harris is actually more advanced, and I still like his things are only 10 minutes long. But I will say this. If you put an hour of meditation in a day, I've never done this before in a consistent manner like this, there's something very distinctly different about it. Because what happens is like, I can take 10 minutes or 15 minutes of meditation and shove it into any corner of my life. And it's kind of like, man, and it felt good to like, okay, I have some consistency.
That's where I'm at right now.
And look, I was there for years, and I still am, like that is my basis. But when I started putting in an hour a day, it's like I get up, it's like a part of my day, the way running is part of your day.
Yeah.
And the same way that running, like, it shapes that hour of your life, but it also shapes the rest of your day in a lot of ways. And I'm feeling the same way about meditation, which is like, it is now, 1/12 of my waking hours I'm meditating, which is crazy.
That's a lot.
And so,
so are you telling me that this is the calm, centered, relaxed version of Craig that I've been experiencing the last couple of weeks?
I will say that things are rattling me less than they would before.
Oh, that's good.
This is as good as it gets. I really think that I can't wait to see what's going to be at the end of 8 weeks. I feel like I have 8 weeks and then another month or two, and then I have my 9-day retreat.
Well,
so like
maybe we can do some stuff for this weekend. I'm really excited for our summit weekend, guys. We rented this really cool house out in Point Reyes, which is way Western Marin.
Yep.
It has been raining cats and dogs and horses and guinea pigs and other pet animals. Like it's just been raining incessantly, and we finally, it seems like the weather has cracked a little bit, and we've had this like warm, sunny week. I think it's gonna roll into the weekend, and just everything in Marin right now is just super green. So we're just gonna have this lovely outside weekend with the team.
Yep.
And I need the break, man. I'm looking forward to, you know.
Somebody was saying we'll be interviewing Sir Mo for your channel. That's a great idea when we're in Boston. Sorry, in London. Ooh, what am I saying? Yeah, we would love to talk to Mr. Farrow. That'd be incredible. Yeah.
If you got any connections.
Christopher Jimenez says, is your guys' app available for Android? We do have an app. It is our old app that is available on the Android store. I believe we just updated it. But the new app is initially iOS only, and then we will, and the old Android app will still be available. And then later this year, probably at the end of the summer, in the fall, summer to fall, we'll launch our Android app.
You explained it to me well. The idea is that we're like still testing right now and laying things out, and it's easier to like beta test in one platform and make all the changes there, and then once this is good, we can then copy that whole thing over versus like simultaneously changing in two places.
Yeah, it's kind of like building two houses. Like if you're not quite sure where you want the bathroom to be and what it to look like, you may as well make that house perfect and make all the adjustments before you build the second house. It's gonna look the same.
It really is amazing, right? Like we have all these different options, but like how much work goes in behind it.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not amazing. I don't know. Lormier is a beast. There are a bunch of like British athletes. Yeah, we need to get ourselves spun up with an attack plan for London. Who we're going to talk to and how we're going to do it.
What is it, Dave Warman? What is your? Oh, he put a link there.
Yeah.
What is the link?
So this is an Ask Us Anything show, and we have just been, going on with our little updates so far. But let's get into some of these questions. Jorge Rocha in the early part of the show says, how to run twice a day. Did you ever you probably did twice a day workouts?
Alton Sports Coda UK. So Dave, whatever link you put in there, let us know what it is that you're having us look at. Okay.
Yeah. So
Alton Sports.
Have you ever, when's the last time you did twice a day workouts?
Ironman training.
Yeah. Did you ever do that for running in college? Or no, we guys once a week. Yeah, most days.
Yeah, so we would do like a morning run, like 3-5 miles. And just kind of like clean out the legs, put in extra miles.
Yeah.
It's not clear to me. The one thing about running, I feel like, is that it beats up your body a little bit every time you go out there. So if you need to split up your workouts, but if you can handle your mileage, I mean, I'm not sure why you would split up. Like for example, let's say you're doing 40 miles a week.
Yeah.
Would you do 2-a-days if you could?
I don't know. I would probably say the twice a day runs is really helpful when people are moving north of like 50 to 60 miles, because if you're averaging, let's say you're averaging 60 miles a week and you are running 6 days, which is a lot, right? You're averaging 10 miles of running a day. Like I could see the benefits of doing 2 5-mile runs or a 7-mile run and a 3-mile run versus doing a 10-mile every single day. Like that's just a lot. If it's like a 40-mile week, like you probably don't need to be doing twice.
And if you're starting every run a little sore, like that means your body's not recovering from the previous run, and now you're just losing out. Like, I mean, the question isn't how much can you run and how many times can you work out. It's how many times are you able to recover. Yeah. That's the real question. And so if you don't have a sleep period in there.
Yeah, and like the purpose and what you're doing, like if you're like younger and you're a student and you've been told you need to do this to get better, it's the way. But for a lot of adults,
if you're running 70 miles a week, then sure, like split up, do some morning miles.
See splitting things up.
But generally, I would say that, I mean, for most like amateur athletes, I don't think 2 days are necessary. That being said, 2 days doesn't have to mean running twice a day, right? We definitely believe in 2 days for sure when you're talking about including strength and mobility as part of that.
It's sometimes hard to fit it in, especially if you are someone who's trying to run 5 to 6 days a week and fit strength. Like you're definitely signed up for some double sessions, right? And that's like the
that's totally fine. And then we always believe that your second session should be your evening Netflix Immobilize.
Yep. So Dan says, not sure if my injury is fixed or not. Should I rest more or run?
Wait, what do you think, Dan? Given the phrasing of that question.
I know. I wonder, and look, and Dan, I'm by all means, I'm not knocking on you at all. I think what's interesting when we ask questions like this is like, are we trying to seek external permission from someone to work out, or, you know, are we just like really not sure? Because sometimes with athletes, they're looking for external permission from someone else, and they say, well, hey, my doctor said I could do it, so I could.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, it is your body, and you're always the one in the driver's seat. The doctor works for you. You know, we work for you as coaches. So like, we're just the advisors. You guys all as runners, like, you make the final decisions about what you do and don't do.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't always seem that way because someone is telling you what to do, or you have a program telling you what to do. It's like, no, like, you're following that stuff.
Yep.
It's kind of like when I try to tell you what to do and
I ignore them.
you ignore them. So you don't always have to listen.
I like this one. Obstacle Zone says, do you think it's necessary to see a physical therapist to improve your running? I personally don't believe that those, like, one has to happen in order to do the other.
Yeah.
I will say that in our programs, which we believe are our best attempt at getting a large swath of people better at their craft of running, at you know, just becoming better athletes in general, we have stolen lots of stuff from physical therapy because, you know, physical therapists are trained and you know, our tutelage under Dr. Kelly Starrett, who was with us on the live show just a couple weeks ago, you know, taking a lot of things from the physical therapy world has taught us, like, how do you functionally fix your body? Like, just because you take your car into the shop every so often, you can't.
This is actually interesting,
yeah.
And this is actually, I think, why we're doing plays such an important role. Most of the time when runners go see a physical therapist, it's almost too late. It's after the injury occurred,
broken, yeah.
And they're helping get you back. And so often they said, oh man, if only you came in when you were healthy, you know, I could have shown you these small adjustments, and maybe you wouldn't have gotten hurt in the first place. But no one goes to a physical therapist that way. You know, it's like, I'm healthy, got nothing to do today, I'm gonna go book some time with my PT. So like, as you're saying, like, there's valuable stuff, but it's the strength, the movement, the good mechanics, the good habits that can prevent you from having to see one at all. Or if you see one, it's for things that you're working on yourself, but then you're like, ooh, this is above my pay grade. I like don't know how to do it.
If you're already using things like our injury prevention series as a guide, like, you're already doing a lot of the stuff that a physical therapist would have you do. If you have a particular problem area, absolutely see a professional. But if you are looking for performance and health, I would say that our stuff gets you there, unless you have a specific problem that you need, like, hey, like, I have a hip pointer or whatever, I have, you know, ITBN syndrome that is not going away, I've tried, you know, there are always cases where you need to see a professional, but you know, our whole point of creating what we create is,
and guys, like, the nature of this business, from my experience, is that it is such a craft, and the doctors, the physical therapists, like, it's very asymmetrical, the information specific to running. So like, not all PTs are going to be really good at dialing in your run technique and mechanics. Like, not all of them speak that language. Not all of them speak fartlek. You know, some are really good, and they would pick up some things and show you what to do. So, you know, if you have the time and resources to go spend some time with one to work on some stuff, I'm sure you'd pick some stuff up. 100%. But I would, you know, not do that in lieu of all the work you can do, and honestly, starting with a lot of the work we put out in our videos, because that's
here's the other thing I don't like about you, the idea of you seeing a PT, is that it puts the onus on somebody. It puts the responsibility on somebody else. The responsibility initially has to rest with you. It's your body. Only you will know it as intimately as you do. And your part of becoming a better athlete is getting to know your body better and figuring out how you fix it, which means that initially you do the work, you put in the 15 minutes every evening, and then, like, you can supplement that with things like our coaching, things like going to a PT and asking them, hey, what do you think? Getting an MRI, whatever it is. But initially, that work has to come from you.
I love this question from Carla. How to pick up cadence for those of us that are beat metronome challenged? One thought, Carla, is that if you are having a hard time sticking to the beat, it might be going too fast. So how can we slow the beat down to a rhythm that you know you can hold? And maybe what you're trying to do is set the metronome roughly to what your current Cadence actually is.
Yep.
And that way you just get used to the audible sound and making an adjustment there. And then you just adjust by 1 or 2 beats per minute and you play with that, right? And you can see if you can stick with it. But if you're like 10 to 20 beats off with your normal thing, it's gonna feel very rough.
Yep. Yep.
The other thing to do that I found is like be kind to yourself, be patient, and give yourself breaks. In the beginning, if you are trying to make a bigger jump, don't expect yourself to be able to run with that higher tempo for say more than a minute concentrated at a time. So rather than try to run, say, 5 or 10 minutes straight, I'd much rather see 5 by 1 minutes focused to the higher cadence, and then 1 minute where you're a little bit more relaxed. And over time, we're gonna see this trend upwards. But we're not trying to get from here to like here in like 1 day.
There's no way to just all of a sudden like create new gears in your car. You have to slowly.
Like if I wanted to start making smoothies, I am not on this guy's level yet. Like I would need to
10+ years of smoothie making.
Like there's like, I don't know how many ingredients are in there, but there's like sprouted chia seeds. I don't know if that's a thing.
Oh yeah, what do you mean?
Sprouted chia seeds?
Chia pet. Where do you think chia pet? Remember chia pet from the 80s?
You have chia pet in here? Chia pet smoothie.
chia. Do you remember when the chia pet was chia seeds? That was the first time we saw chia seeds, and you'd put them on the animal, the clay animal, and it would chia pet.
And then everyone stopped caring about chia pets, and then this guy ran out of money, and then he had to put his kids through college.
I will tell you what.
I have to eat the chia pets to survive.
I will tell you a story.
And then he says my kids are of like super health.
I was living in Seattle in 2007, 2008, and I had befriended this guy named Barefoot Ted, who is he was profiled in the what's the Barefoot Running book called again? The Christmas Douglas book.
Chris McDougall?
McDougall.
Born to Run.
Born to Run. Okay. Barefoot Ted but before the book came out, I was friends with Ted. He was making these Warachi shoes. He now has a company that makes those shoes. And he told me about going to Mexico and eating these chia seeds, and like he's like, they eat these things, they're called chia seeds, they like turn into like little tapioca balls and water. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you can buy them, like you go to like a Mexican store. I searched everywhere in Seattle, could not find even one chia seed except for one small little shop for $10 for this little packet of chia seeds in this right near Pike Place Market. And we just went to Costco this morning and got like you can get chia seeds like in bulk.
I feel like it's such a good rule that if whatever has landed in Costco, it has gone mainstream. Yeah. Like we saw a whole wall of kombucha.
Right.
Right? And I just remember 10 years ago, I lived with
a dude
named Rob, and you had to basically make your own. And I was like, what is this? And now all of a sudden, it is like huge.
So here's a great question. I'm asking you a question now.
We're talking about things light up. We're talking about
things that are in the past, right? Okay, now it's what are the things right now that are edgy?
Ooh, that you think are going to be the future?
Yeah.
Oh, I think the HVMN stuff.
Oh, the human stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
So
keto, the exogenous ketones.
Yeah.
That stuff is granted, it's very expensive now, but this is like you can get a small little bottle of exogenous ketones. We've talked about this before. We had them on our show, and it's like $30 for a bottle or whatever, but it gives you like an extra tank of energy.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a new category. How
about cannabinoids?
And fueling?
You think it's going up, going down?
Oh, that is totally going up.
Okay,
for sure. Like I'm seeing more companies that are selling cannabinoids as recovery products for athletes.
Psychoactive part of the marijuana plant.
Yeah.
The hemp plant. So the non-psychoactive part, but it does have a relaxing.
Have any of you guys ever? I mean, feel free or not. Like no hurt shame, but like I've tried it the other day with a buddy of mine after I ran 10K.
Okay.
And it felt like a cup of coffee in the opposite direction.
Okay, yeah.
Like I was like a little alert, but like very, very chill. But like brain was fine. It's interesting.
I'll take them when I go on a plane to like relax and go to sleep or something. But just that. What else is in that category of like things that are like not that I'm trying out now?
I think those are the two bigger ones.
Yeah. I'll think about that. I probably have other things that
I think the stuff like UCAN does, like that type of starch, I think that's going to
Super
go
starches,
into
yeah.
more and more categories for sure. We'll keep going there. More questions, guys. I have another good one from XX Velocity XX. I've been trying to lower my weight before marathons and half marathons. Time restricted eating seems to be helping out quite a bit. If that is what's the word I'm thinking of? Not time restricted.
intermittent fasting.
Yes.
That's another one actually. Intermittent fasting is kind of on the edge now.
That's picking up.
You know, meditation has kind of jumped into the mainstream now.
It's true.
Which I think is an amazing thing. I don't know how much people actually do it so much as talk about doing it though.
That's fair. I think a lot of people like to talk about it. Well, back to this statement. Lowering your weight during marathons and halves is interesting. I think time restricted intermittent style fasting could work. I think what's really hard to do is making big changes in your nutrition habits when you're in the middle of a build-up for a half or full marathon.
Right.
You know, it's like, I feel like we can only manipulate so many areas of stress in our life. And if I'm changing the way I eat, like, that's an extra cognitive load. Like, there's a change of habits. There is maybe not stress, like you're anxious or nervous stress, but your body is figuring out this new rhythm. And if you're trying to do that while simultaneously build up for a run, like it's a lot.
Okay, I got a new one that I think of is going to be mainstream, but it's related to this.
Okay. Did you pick up anything?
It's really,
Did he pick up anything, or was it just like, was there like the wheel turning in the back of his head?
So, you know, you're talking about time restricted eating. One thing that I have found is that adding protein to each meal is a way to keep satiated, so you end up eating less. But you know, as opposed to saying I'm taking away food, is just replacing food. Like, okay, cool. Can I get 30 grams of protein in my breakfast and my lunch and my dinner?
So I feel like that's an old thing that may be coming up new, or is at least new for you. But that's
not. I don't think it's new. I just feel like instead of if I'm increasing my mileage, do I want to take out 16 hours of the day where I'm not eating?
So you're helping answer this question. It's like, okay, maybe you could be upping and redistributing the protein you're eating, and that can help with,
and to go down the old thread, which was I was saying, is things that I think are going to be more mainstream is I think that microbiomes, like the flora and fauna in your system, is something that's not well understood right now. But there are companies, there's one called UBioMe who I had sampled me a couple of years ago. Inside Tracker, who we've talked about, who has blood sampling. I think that understanding what is in our gut and our intestinal system from a bacterial sense is a major player in whether like certain foods work for us, etc. And so right now, when we think about health stuff, one of the reasons that it's so, you know, when we talk about running training, we can't give everybody the same prescription. That's why we tell you, hey, we're teaching you how to train yourself. That's what our programs are about. They're modifiable. Same thing with nutrition stuff. I believe that one of the reasons we go back and forth, we want carbs, we don't want carbs, we want protein, we want fat, we don't want to eat it all, I mean, it's time restricted, is that it's so different for each person. And one of the reasons it's different is we're all different, is what is happening in there. I think there's a lot of factors, but what's happening in your system. And as we get better at testing and having kind of personalized nutrition, I think that's going to become more mainstream. I don't think you're going to be able to buy it in Costco. But
how much do you think the differences in nutrition is just people's tastes and habits and what they prefer?
I think genetically we are different. Like if you think about it from the paleo mentality, right? The idea that, hey, we've been evolving for millennia, and then all of a sudden things are happening very fast to our environment, and so we need to go back to like how we evolved to be, as opposed to what is available in the yogurt aisle at Safeway.
Oh, you mean like paleo style nutrition?
Not paleo, but just maybe the idea that like humans evolve for a long time, our bodies evolve with it, and then now the world changes so fast that our systems are not right. Similarly,
if I can't pronounce the ingredient,
we didn't all evolve the same, right? Like we evolved with different diets. So if you have you know, if you are African American and your ancestors evolved with a very different diet than you did if you were Northern European, which is different than if you are Hispanic and came from, like, you know, Latin America and you have indigenous roots. So, you know, like, one of the things that Michael Pollan talks about in his books is thinking about, like, food that, you know, food evolved over millennia because cultures got used to, you know, corn was available, so we got really better at digesting corn, but not everybody, right? And so I think that in the same way, you know, that we say running is not the same for everybody. People don't all have the same stride. Don't say you're a toe runner, you're a heel runner. We all have different bodies. You know, the femur length of Asian people is slightly shorter than it is for Europeans. All this stuff. So I think, like, inside of us is different too. Yeah. And unless we take it into account with nutrition information, we will never have a full picture of what works. Yeah.
You know, what's interesting about that is, like, it almost sounds like borderline phrenology, like the way that we've tried to draw, like, cultural and genetic or scientific things like we have in the past. Which is, like, a big no-no in certain respects, right? Because we were trying to say, like, oh, it's like, I don't want to say it, you know, but, like, no. But at the same time, it's like the idea of how we've sort of co-evolved with foods in our area and how our body responds to that. It's like there's something that makes sense there. I want to get into a question on run walking.
Sure.
And we got a question earlier from...
I've been run walking for 20 years before run walking was a thing.
Dave asks, what do you guys think of Galway training? I did the Disney Marathon last year and you Americans were all over that system. I've asked 2 respected coaches over here and it's a big no. Why? Dave says, hey, I ran the Disney Marathon this year using Run Walk and sent a new PR. I think it's a great method and felt better the next day. You know, we're decently anti-rigid, you know, in a system. I've heard Jeff Galway speak a few times. He's a smart dude. He has created something that has made longer distance running accessible to a lot of people. I think that it's on us to really understand why this is working for us and making the best decisions for us versus saying, well, no, this is what the system says. Because I think the danger with the run walk or the Galway method is that people get their Galway blinders on and they think I have to be running 5 minutes walking 1 or 5 minutes walking 2. And I've seen some runners who get so dependent upon that that they can't break out of it. So some run coaches outside are like, I don't know if I even want my runners going down that way. I'd rather just have them run.
Right.
But I think understanding what those walk breaks do is really powerful. And I remember he gave a speech where he said, man, I could send runners on a 20-mile run with walk breaks. They weren't as sore than if they just ran 20 miles straight. And part of me was like, well, why would that make a difference? Because they have the same load time. It's like, okay, maybe these moments where, like, the heart rate comes down a little bit. But the thing that I was thinking about was like, oh, this is like a mechanical reset. Every time they walk, it's a chance to get taller, get themselves reorganized, and they're stringing together smaller doses of better run form. And it's maybe because, like, they actually have a higher quality running with those walk breaks interspersed, and they're not beat up as a result.
I have, like, without knowing it, I have been run walking for pretty much my entire life outside of running with the team. When I run with you and we're on, like, a break or whatever, I'm like, holy shit, like, I get worked because every time we go out, like, you don't walk as much. For me, every time I cross the street, every time I hit a stop sign, I see people there who are, like, you know, going like this and, like, jogging in place. No, that's not me. I will walk across. Sometimes when there's not even any reason, it's just like, I'd be like, you know what, I feel like walking here. And my average clip that I run at tends to be faster that way. But I think that what you're saying is that it keeps me running at a certain, like, rate where I can keep my form. And if I start going like, hey, I have to, once I leave the house, I have to run for an hour and I'm not gonna stop until I come back. It happens occasionally, but realistically, I really like,
I like that. You know, Forbesy 2004 brings up a good point.
Nate is taking your questions and turning them into ideas.
You guys
for
are
new
inspiring
videos.
me for new videos. I'm like, ooh, I need to do a deeper dive in the run walk thing.
There you go.
Forbesy 2004 says, if anyone has run the Comrades Ultra Marathon in South Africa, you will find a run walk strategy is a must. a good pattern is run 10 minutes, walk 1 minute for novices. You know, that's really interesting. Like, I don't think of any ultra runner, and we just had Yi Wang on last week. She's a professional ultra runner for Under Armour. She races, she's racing, not Leadville, Western States.
Okay.
She's another one. It's like, I don't think any ultra runner runs continuously all the way through. Like, they take walk breaks.
Yeah.
You know, they stop at aid stations. It's such a long race. So, like, then the question is, like, well, I walked once. Does that make me a run walker? Do I have to run continuous? Like, do I have to, like, stop under a certain interval? Like, you guys see where this gets kind of gray.
By the way,
it's also like, who cares?
Shout out to Coach Holly on our team.
Oh, yeah.
Who finished her second 50-miler last weekend.
Antelope Canyon.
Had like 2/3 of it over loose terrain, like sand type gravel.
Incredible.
Had like started at 4,000 feet, went up another 4,000 feet. Like gnarly. Absolutely. It took her like 12 hours. It was just like a slog. And she said it made her other 50K feel like a 5K.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hey, remember other 50 miler. Let me not take away the 20 miles that she
mile.
Her other 50 miler, which she did last year, she's like, that felt like a 5K compared to this one. She's a beast. She's just really impressive.
Totally. It would be fun to hear more about that race and how things went for her. KP says, only at water stations I walk. Running and walking is different gates, so I don't walk during a race. You know, it totally depends on the race. Now, one last note on the run walk station. You know, Jeff Galway always gets this question. He's like, well, I'm a fast runner. I don't want to do a run walk. And he replied that he helped a runner get from it was like a 2:32 marathon down to like a 2:29 using strategic walk breaks.
In the race?
In the race.
No.
Yes.
Really?
So what that could mean was that he was doing very short focused walk breaks.
Yeah.
I don't know how they were totally split up, but it was impressive to me, saying that this is not just something for new runners. Like, it could be used even at the pointy end. And you see, and what we're just talking about ultra runners, like, look, these guys are
sub
taking
2:30 with a walk rate. That is beast.
Ironman
Beast
triathletes who are running sub 3 hour marathons will sometimes walk through aid stations so they can get enough food and fluid in, because that's the game. So anyway,
I was hoping that Jessica and Jeff would show up during the live show, but
I don't know if they're going to be here yet, guys.
I'm excited to meet them though.
Forbesy says a run walk is a strategy, not a desperation. Absolutely. Let's get into some other things here. Tom says my heart rate spikes immediately when I start running. Tough to keep it aerobic without walk running. You know, Tom, it depends on how fast you're going. I think that it could also be a warm-up thing. If you like maybe start with a walk, move to a real brisk walk, maybe move to a brisk walk walking up a hill.
And there's nothing wrong with walk running. Totally great. The other thing is, like, if that's happening, I'm guessing that you haven't been running for like 10, 15 years. Yeah. You know, like running might be a little bit newer to you. I'm just guessing. Yeah. And if it is, it can be a little shock to the system the first time you're getting going. It takes a while for you to like really, you know, there's a beautiful thing, I think, about not running at your capacity. Totally. You know, you can run 10 miles, but you go out and you run 4, and that 4 feels relaxed. It's a mental relaxation. It's like a mental meditation. Like,
but it takes a little while to get to the point where 4 miles doesn't feel like a mountain.
And I think it's one of the best things about running these longer races, whether it's a half marathon or a marathon or ultra, if you really want to go that far, but is that it level sets you to what you can do, and now your daily run of 5 miles, 8 miles, whatever, 2 miles, it feels like, hey, it's only 2 miles and you can knock it out. And that can be, as opposed to like oh God, my heart rate's gonna go up, and I know, like, it feels like, hey, this is gonna go out and knock out my 4 or 5 miles. Yeah, totally. I know, that was my run yesterday. Rachel asks, could we ever see a triathlon training program added to the list of training programs? The triathlon experience. The triathlon, it is not on the cards right now as far as whether we'll do a triathlon program. Whether we do programs that will aid triathletes is a different matter. We have a decent amount of triathletes in our programs. We obviously don't talk about the swim or the bike stuff, but certainly the run
and the strength programming and injury prevention stuff we provide is
absolutely for
super
triathletes.
conducive. Like, we're both triathletes in a former life, so we understand that role. And it's hard to play in multiple sandboxes at the same time. I feel like we're still trying to figure out the run sandbox and just get better there, as opposed to start jumping in these other areas. So while we would love to do triathlon training, it's a little bit beyond our limits right now.
We like the one of the programs that I would like to have us create is an injured athlete program. Like, here's a 30-day program for when you are injured, because some of you guys, you know, the car crashes and you want to know how can you spend that energy. I just had somebody say, hey, how can I take the energy from my running and turn it into, like, hey, I have like this motivation to do core work.
Right.
And it is
who asked that question?
It was a good question, because, like, hey, you get this sort of satisfaction from running. Like, how do you get it from core work? And for me, it varies per person. I think, like, for me, it's having the thing that I get about running is that, like, I have a structured approach. So that I go out and I do a certain run every day, or, like, that's my base. And that way, like, whether I'm feeling it like it, whether I'm not, that's my base. I go out, like right now it's a 10K loop. I go out, it's my base, 10K, 5 times a week. It just happens. And then some days I'm gonna go longer, a 10-mile run on the weekend. Some days I'm gonna go and do the track workout. But sometimes that week, like, I'm not gonna do it. So core work, I think, similarly, have a base of something like, hey, you know what? I hold a plank for 30 seconds every day. That's my base. And, like, start to create your base of, like, that's, like, it doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be super challenging. In fact, it shouldn't be. Just create a base, and off of that, you'll be like, you know what? I actually want to be able to stabilize more in this position. And you can every so often, like, branch off and do a little bit more. But start with, like, a very small base. Like, you know what? No matter what, every time I run, I can end it with a 30-second plank.
It's a great idea. Something that is on the lower bar, an easier task, and it becomes very habitual.
You don't need equipment for it. Just take some exercise and be like, that's going to be my base. And you can change it. You don't have to keep it forever.
The other thing, Dominic, that you could do, because this is Dominic's question, is to tap into some other areas where it doesn't feel like a chore, where you're making it fun, interesting, social. Like, we work out for a lot of reasons. A lot of us chose running not because we're, like, purely in love with the mechanics of the sport, but we're like, oh, my friend wanted me to run a 5K, and I run 5Ks now, and I met all these people doing it, and we run 5Ks, we drink beers after. Like, this is cool. But it was almost like if they played Yahtzee or rode bikes, you almost would have gotten into that as well. Like, there's a degree of randomness, although, of course, we love running around here. So with the strength training, like, you know, get some buddies to do it with you. Join a group or a class, something that is decently convenient to your home at a time, because those can be a lot of fun when you get that external stimulus. You scratch that social itch because you're around people and you're like, hey, this is fun. I'm, like, working out with other people together. You always get a little bit more from yourself. Tom
Dillon says their shins are sore in between runs. Tom, our injury prevention series is on sale right now for $14. We have a whole section in there on shins. That would be my best bet. There's no way we could describe it here what to do about that better than what we do in the injury prevention series.
Yeah, but suffice to say, it's going to be some work and mobility and soft tissue work around your calves and some additional strength training around your calves and your ankles. The ice is not going to solve this thing really at all. It's going to relieve a little sense of pain, and it's just going to really numb it. But it's not like going to fix it.
Somebody's cutting you, and you're putting a Band-Aid on it, but they're still cutting you. You know, like, you need to stop the cause of the injury as opposed to just putting ice on it.
There's always a mechanical thing in there that's going to be super important. I wanted to get to this question further down that I saw. Andy was asking us, hey, what are both of your training preferences? Do you prefer training for the shorter, sharper races or the longer distance races like marathons?
Oh, that's a hard question to ask right now, since I am not focusing on, like, reducing my time to do these things. But you're doing shorter stuff now.
Guys, I'm fucking killing it right now. I am stoked. Like, I'm doing, like, short and sharp stuff. I just revisited a 6x800 meter workout on Monday. And this was probably one of the maybe first speed workouts I did in January of the year. So it was a little rough. But I was, like, legit 10 seconds per rep faster. Across the board, it felt smoother.
What is
my first ones, I was running like 307, 310.
Yep.
And then I was down on Monday to like
under 3.
257, 257, and then drifted down to 250. And it felt...
Oh, down 250. It's
down,
pretty good.
and it felt like smooth.
Nice.
And better than last time. No, still not where I used to be.
What's your rest on that? Like 2 minutes?
I did 90 seconds.
90 seconds, good.
Yeah, 90 seconds
Dude,
rest.
90 seconds is not that much rest.
It's not that much rest. Yeah, it felt good.
That means that you could keep that pace for a couple months.
Yeah, it was great. And I did a VO2 test. I finally did the VO2 test.
Oh, you did? Finally.
I did it last Thursday,
a
week ago. Almost. We have it on camera, so it's going to be a future video. You guys are going to see me.
I told him if he doesn't faint, you didn't do a VO2 max. A VO2 max means you faint.
Dude, I went hard though. Like this is good because what they do is like they measure your oxygen exchange.
Yeah.
And it's a test where you go to failure.
Yep.
They keep increasing the speed every 2 minutes. And basically after a while, like every time you increase the speed and effort, your heart rate and your maximum oxygen demands increase as well. So you're kind of seeing this thing. And when you hit your VO2 max is when these numbers level off.
Yeah.
But the speed of the treadmill still goes up. And then all of a sudden it's like when it separates, you have a very limited time.
Okay.
So he says a lot of people will like get off before
it
they actually get there because it is really hard.
Yeah.
I was on for like 2.5 or 3 minutes after it leveled off.
Oh, dude.
And he's like, dude, you went in the pain cave.
Yeah.
I was stoked.
That's cool.
It was painful.
What was it? I don't even know what numbers are these days.
What did I blow? I was like a 63 or 64, which is not too bad.
Which
is
I
interesting.
Think Armstrong is like an 80 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was, and I'm like 170 right now, if I was this exchange and 5 pounds less, which was like my race weight, I would be closer to 70. So it's per weight.
Oh,
the numbers, it's like max oxygen,
per
milliliters of oxygen per minute per kilo of body weight.
Gotcha.
So a bigger person is gonna inevitably have a bigger engine, right? Because they just have more. But at the same time, like they have the speed. So the idea of the VO2 is like this is a normalizer against people.
This is why really tall, skinny people can have large VO2 maxes. Because you're huge, your lung capacity could be large.
And so sometimes they'll sometimes they'll just look at ventilatory threshold and they'll just look at your max oxygen without the kilos. Because there's some sports where your weight doesn't matter, right? If you're a rower, they don't care. You know what I mean? They just want to see the max capability. They don't want you to lose weight.
Yep.
You know, so it just there are certain weights where like and then the other interesting thing about VO2 is when you compare different sports. So I've tested on a bike before, but bike you're sitting, you're not engaging as much musculature as you would running. So for the same effort, in theory, your VO2 would be higher running than cycling.
Interesting. Oh, I didn't know that.
And cross-country runners, cross-country skiers, because they're really using their arms,
they have
the most.
Interesting.
Swimming is interesting because you think it would be a whole body, but also your weight is you're not supporting your own body weight.
Right.
Like so, it's like it's sort of lower. So all these messy things.
Wednesday, I can't wait to see that video.
It's coming out in a couple weeks. You guys will have fun with that.
All right.
But then we did 5, because this doesn't sound that bad. Andy, this doesn't sound that bad. We did 5 by 60-second efforts this morning with 2 minutes rest. But I remember looking at the 60 efforts, like I went in and I'm running and I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying. Oh man, I'm 22 seconds in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was just
Where were you guys doing 6-second efforts?
In the gym. I was on a treadmill.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I was on like the self-propelled Woodway, which was perfect because you could go. So I'm enjoying the short stuff right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You should do another 5K.
Yeah, I should, right? Thomas asks, have you ever done a park run? We have.
Yeah.
We've done a park run in San Francisco. Maybe we should do a park run in London. They're huge over there.
Of course.
That'd be kind of fun, right? Like maybe 100%. We should do that.
Yeah.
Steven asks, what type of run days are better with weightlifting on the same day?
Oh, not your hard day.
Not usually your hard day. I would say with all of these questions, it sort of depends. I'd say as a general rule, I wouldn't do it the same day as your hard day. Or if you did your hard run first, and then you did your strength training session after.
Right.
But that might be in a time of season when the strength training is more core focused, a little bit more balance and mobility focused, like more like maintenance.
Massive deadlifts.
Yeah, but if
squats.
you're really trying to, the way I like to think about it, guys, is that for the most of us, especially as adults, the first, if we're doing 2 sessions in a day, the first session we do in a day is always going to be a little bit better. So if I have something that is particularly hard or challenging or needs that little mental effort and energy, I should do that one first, prioritize that. And then the follow-up one later in the day, I'm more tired. That might be for the easy miles or the easier strength piece.
I just want to remind people that we don't have a new giveaway this week because this is the end of our season 1 finale. This is our season 1 ender. We're not going to be doing the live show for the next.
Oh my god,
few
it's
weeks.
almost the end of the hour.
Yeah, I know, crazy, right?
Guys, I've been having a lot of fun on this call. Maybe I should always say that I'm always having fun on these things. You know, every once in a while, like, it depends on where we're at, where like you find yourself like, have you guys ever been in like class and you're like looking at the clock and you're like, oh, it's like 15.
Nate does a lot more work for this live show than I have to do. I just have to jump on. He does all the stuff at the beginning and the end, comes with the topics and stuff. So we are taking a break from the live show. We're gonna have a webinar coming out in a week and a half from now. And you're happy to have you guys jump on that. It's gonna be more focused on teaching something. And then we'll come back to the live show once we've launched our app and we've kind of gotten some of these projects underway. We're taking
I know
some
it's
of this time.
It's a little sad because we've been consistent with this thing for almost 2 years.
Yep.
And we do love it. It's super fun. It's like fun to connect. It's fun to connect with you guys a lot. But we had to do a hard look yesterday at all the projects we're trying to get out. And we realized, we're like, oh man, there's like 1 or 2 things that we gotta like knock off the list for a short period of time so that we can really hit it.
Yep. So, and then of course, if we have special guests and stuff, we'll definitely come back and do live shows.
We'll come in, check in, and do those things. Like, you know, more details for Boston and London guys will be out soon. But if you're in Boston, we are going to do some community meetups for sure. And the same thing with London. Traditionally, what we try to do is a meetup Saturday. So for London, that would be the day before the race. A lot of times we like to meet in a park and sometimes run together, though I don't like the running part because everyone separates and we can't really chat.
Right.
We usually like to do a meetup in a park where we can do like a little warm up together. And you know, we can like hang out and chat, and then if like a few people want to go out for a run, we do that too.
Yeah,
so
the run isn't the focus of it.
The run isn't the focus.
Yeah.
Because you guys, you know, you're so good. You're so good at all that stuff. What else we got, Craig? We had a lot of people enter this week's giveaway, man.
Let me grab that link for the mobile app. If anybody wants to sign on for the beta, we're still in beta over the next month. Hang on 1 second. I have so many windows open.
Yeah. Andy, we're gonna fly in, I think the Wednesday or Thursday before the London Marathon. We should be in town on Thursday. Would be super fun to connect. We'll definitely, I think you have my email. Email me and we'll reach out and connect that way. That'd be really cool. Marcia, something says, I just got my spikes for this track season. I'm so excited. That is exciting.
Yeah, the FOD Runner, yeah, for sure. We would love to meet you and make sure that we see you when we're in town. You have our email, so let us know.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here is the link. So, oh, wait a minute, guys, we're going to get a cameo. I hear them coming up. Come on up.
Hello.
Can you paste this? I can't paste this.
What's this? What are you trying to paste?
The link.
Hello.
Hi.
Guys, very special.
This is a bit of a trip.
Go. Totally a trip.
Oh my goodness. Here, we have to say hi on camera.
Jessica and Jeff. Hello.
Hello. Good to meet you in reality.
How's
it going?
Goodness.
You're taller than I expected.
Am I?
Yeah, way taller.
What's up, man?
Awesome.
How are you?
Good.
Good,
You guys,
good.
Come on over.
Come on over. Jump in the live show. We're just about to end.
We've both
So-
been up since 4 in the morning,
Oh,
shit
my
on
goodness.
flights all day, so
Oh my goodness.
we're
So
feeling a little haggard.
So-
Jessica, you guys probably know Jessica from being over on email. You're rarely on. Have you been on camera at all?
Only the time
yeah,
that
that's
you
right.
called me in.
That's right. The question.
Yeah, call me.
And Jeff is behind every video that you see, but you don't see him. Yeah, literally. Jeff has been editing and helping us out with our video and creative for 2 years now?
2 years.
Yeah. Dude, it is awesome to see you guys.
Look,
Oh my goodness.
Headphones on.
It's so great to see you guys.
Crazy.
Totally.
So we are gonna jump off here and then be scooted up north for the weekend.
Yeah.
After we eat something.
Yeah, for sure. We'll take care of all that. And we are gonna be joined by Holly,
Morgan,
Paige,
Elizabeth,
Jen.
and Jen. That's right.
Yeah, so there's gonna be 10 of us
The whole
total.
team.
Yeah,
The whole
it's
team
gonna be
getting
great.
together.
So yeah, this is so great. I'm glad we got this on
Cool.
camera.
Yeah. The last 2 seconds of the show.
Yeah.
For you guys to know Jessica Gage, she's sometimes obviously in there. You kind of see the little.
I think these are the
around.
only ones that both of us haven't met, right?
Mhm.
Because we've met Jen, you've met Paige, I haven't met
Yeah.
Paige. I think you two are the only ones that
Well,
neither of
we're
us
the
has met.
strangers.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're both on the East Coast, and we've been trying to make this happen for a while.
And
So
here we are.
yeah,
Tone says hi everyone. Melissa, one of our captains. I know.
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited.
Melissa. Awesome.
but just to close it out, guys, we are we're gonna be, like we said, we're gonna be saying bye for the live show for the next few weeks, month-ish, until we launch our mobile app and get some of these other projects underway. We will be also live with our new webinar. Probably not next week, the week after all. And then, of course,
That's the goal.
if you're in Boston or you're around the East Coast area or you're in London or around that area and want to come see us, we're going to be there in April. So we hope to see you guys soon. Thank you so much.
It's gonna be busy.
We will catch you on the flip side.
Let's do our quick drawing.
Oh,
Do we
yeah,
get
quick
a ton
drawing,
of
there you
people
go.
for our gooder iced spaghetti. So we did the iced spaghettis, and
I have
people
those in my bag.
Good.
love that one. So we're gonna do the winners here. Here we go. I'm gonna draw.
These guys.
Yeah.
There you go. That's
nice.
Nice.
Jessica, do you want to do the honors of
Yes.
reading out the winners?
Please
for
read
Sure.
the
today?
winners. Yeah.
We have Donna Ritchie with a cool pair of shades coming your way. And also Rachel Debates.
Woo!
Awesome. From
Battendorf, Iowa. So
City
Rachel from
and
Iowa
Bettendorf.
and Donna from Sioux City.
Both
Iowa.
Iowa.
Nice.
There you go.
crazy.
We will be shipping those off to you, or Jessica will be shipping those off to you
I will, as soon
next
as I
week.
get back home.
Postmaster General.
But wish us a good weekend, and guys, we'll see you on the flip side. Look out for our announcement of our webinar. Look out for announcements from Boston and London, and then of course when we are getting back with the live show, we'll let you guys know. All right, cool.
We're gonna do our outro.
Here comes the outro.
Here comes the outro
kinda
again.
sad. Okay.
I know.
Hey, have you ever wanted to run a half marathon but don't know where to start or how to train for it? Well, we hear you. You see, a lot of our students, before they come to us, are looking to train for that half marathon or another competition, but they don't know how to train either. And here's the thing, just running won't cut it anymore. Sure, you may improve some running that way, but it's really not the most efficient way to train for a half marathon or for even getting healthy. And there's just so much misinformation online that it's easy to get even more confused just by trying to read and do a little research for yourself. But the real problem is that your training lacks accountability. You're not working with experienced, competitive, prize-winning running trainers that will know exactly what will work for you. Now, if you don't fix this, what will happen? Well, you'll waste weeks, if not months, of training time you can never really get back. You'll become more injury prone because you won't be running correctly or moving the right way, and you'll be more susceptible to overtraining, pushing yourself too hard too soon and not knowing when to pull yourself back. So, what's the solution here? Well, it's good to integrate some accountability into your training. It's really important to get your training reviewed by experienced coaches who have your best interests at heart, and to join a community of like-minded runners who are also training for 5Ks and half marathons. They want to do it healthy, they want to do it injury-free, where we can exchange ideas and improve upon each other. That's why we invite you to try our 2-week Quick Start program to see if our exclusive community is for you. You see, we understand that a 6 and 12-month membership is a big commitment, so this 2-week Quick Start program is perfect just to get you running and get you feeling the benefits of the coaching and the workouts that we have to offer to get you running lighter, stronger, and smoother.
All you need to do to join and get those 2 weeks plus that exclusive coaching is to click the link above or below this video. You'll get redirected to a page. You can enter your name and your email, and we'll send you immediate access to your 2 weeks. I'll see you on the other side. Hey, have you ever wanted to run a half marathon but don't know where to start or how to train for it? Well, we hear you. You see, a lot of our students, before they come to us, are looking to train for that half marathon or another competition, but they don't know how to train either. And here's the thing, just running won't cut it anymore. Sure, you may improve some running that way, but it's really